Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. And guess what, people? Another crazy-ass Ku Klux Trans member goes on a fucking shooting spree, but you better not call them a Ku Klux Trans member. You can't say that. Even though there are multiple pictures of this crazy fuck dressed up like a woman doing his best Wild Bill impression. I'd fuck me. Despite the evidence, you don't know that. They don't identify. Well, then explain the pictures of this motherfucker dressed up like a woman doing duck face selfies. If you dress like a Ku Klux Trans member, I'm gonna call him a Ku Klux Trans member. So this crazy fucker started walking down the street with what the mainstream mediocres call an AR-15 style rifle. It's an AR-15 or it's not. You don't say that with any other weapon. Well, it was a Smith & Wesson style handgun. You don't say that shit. But they got to tie it to that evil AR-15, that weapon of war, that assault weapon. That shows how stupid and uninformed these politicians are when you hear them call an AR-15 a weapon of war. Sloppy Joe and Gavin, bang your wife Newsom, I'm talking to you. So this mentally unstable turd starts walking down the street in Philadelphia and shooting people randomly, shooting into cars, shooting bystanders, shooting pedestrians. He killed 5 men and shot 2 children. Shot a 13-year-old boy in the leg as he's walking down the street on July 3rd. What's more American than that? Being a young American kid walking down the street on the eve of America's birthday. So this piece of shit starts shooting people randomly. There was a mother in a Jeep with her three kids. 2-year-old twins and a 10-year-old boy. Her and the 10-year-old boy and one of the 2-year-olds were hit by flying glass. One of the 2-year-olds, 2 years old, a fucking toddler. The boy probably can't even talk yet. He got shot in the leg. I don't know about you, but I don't think there's a depth of hell deep enough for some son of a bitch that would shoot a child. Shot that little 2-year-old in the fucking leg. Shot that 13-year-old boy in the leg. Shot 4 men and one 15-year-old boy was murdered. But all they want to talk about is, don't call him a Ku Klux Trans member, because you're going to bring violence on that community. This is bringing violence. So there's a certain sect of people out there in the population who, when they hear the word, he's a what? She's a what? Kill, hurt. Even mentioning it brings violence. That's bullshit. Because when you start looking into the numbers, when you start peeling back those rainbow-colored layers, guess what you're going to find? The truth. And you know what the truth is? The truth is, in 2020, there were 44 Ku Klux Trans members that were murdered. 44. 40 of them were black Ku Klux Trans members. And guess who was killing them? Not a bunch of fucking Billy Bob. Yeehaw! Let's go out tonight, and before you walk out the door, kiss your sister wife in the mouth, and let's go shoot some queers. Wrong. Remember when they told us, oh, Asian hate in Los Angeles is up 500%. Holy shit! That makes you think if an Asian person sticks their head out the front door, somebody's gonna hit them. It was like Asian whack-a-mole. Until you found out, oh, it went from 10 to fucking 13 or some shit. In New York City, Asian hate crimes were up 800%. Fuck! Wrong. So when they tell you that shit, when they tell you, oh, these Ku Klux Trans members are dying, they're being killed by their own. When you look into the numbers, they're either getting killed by domestic partners, or they're getting killed by men that they forgot to tell them that they had a dick. And 44? I'm not going to say that, well, of course, any loss. Fuck that. Only 44. And we need to contort and bend society to their fucking kaleidoscope view of the world. So this Ku Klux Trans member murdered 5 men, 1 young man, and shot 2 fucking kids. But guess what? He was taken into custody. Well, Jericho, if he murdered 5 people and shot 2 children and he was taken into custody safely, he had to be a white man. He had to be Aryan, the most Aryan of Aryans. He was a toe-headed, blue-eyed white man, wasn't he? Nope, wrong. He was a person of color. So wait a minute. You're a person of color and you're shooting people and the police show up, you're dead for sure. Even if you didn't have a gun, even if you just had your cell phone in your pocket, they were going to light your ass up. Your lead content was going to go through the roof. Wrong. They took his crazy bitch ass into custody safely. So those Philly cops, because cops are racist, black men are being hunted. It's open season on black folks, so them Philly cops didn't know whether to scratch their watch or whine their ass. They're like, fuck, we got black victims and a black shooter. Which one do I shoot? But you know what those Philly cops did? As they're arriving on the scene and they see the victims laying on the fucking sidewalk, laying in the street, and the victims were black, by the way. The victims were black. You know what those evil, racist Philly cops did? Shout out to the Philly cop that I met at the Navy SEAL Museum, the National Navy SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce, Florida. Forgive me for not remembering it. I think it was Sonny. I could be wrong, though. But he's a police officer in Philadelphia. You know what those evil, racist motherfuckers did? They started picking up those black men off of the pavement and putting them in their patrol cars and taking them to the hospital. I know, so Klansmen of them. So wait a minute. Racist cops, they took the black shooter into custody safely so they could stand trial, and they were helping the black shooting victims. They were picking them up off the ground, taking them to the fucking hospital. Did these Philly cops read the manual? Do they know they're not supposed to do that? Do they know that they're supposed to either beat or shoot those black folk? And then you read the articles and what do they say? They said that he supported law enforcement and he was a fan of Tucker Carlson. I hate when they do that. I hate when they say, oh, they supported Hillary Clinton. That doesn't make any sense. I don't care who they supported politically. The motherfucker's nuttier than squirrel shit, and he just shot a bunch of people. What does it matter who he sat down and watched every evening or who he voted for? What does that matter? It doesn't. But he was a fan of Tucker Carlson. That's what made him do it. You guys ever watch an episode of Tucker Carlson? What's the first thing you do? You run into the room, get your guns, and you go shoot somebody. Fucking retarded, man. That shit is sad. But if there was ever a time for those cops to let it go, it would have been on this piece of shit. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.